Alrighty. Hey everyone, how y'all doing? Welcome. Just 1 second. Boom. Boomsy doodles. Alright, one more thing. Turn this on. Is this thing on? Alright, there we go. SEO this week. Welcome everyone to episode 200 of SEO this week. Today brings a lot of changes. And that's just the way things are, right? You know, we adapt to our business, we adapt to the challenges therefore, we adapt to the things that work, and we adapt to things that don't. And clearly, I don't know. SEO this week for a lot of people is a really good resource. And I would say probably have on an average of 200 people that watch the show, and then even more that listen to the podcast version, which is awesome. It's like very humbling that even anyone would care what I have to say, much less 200 people, plus or minus the podcast count. But you can't feed your family on admiration, as it were. You actually got to go out and do stuff, and so I have to, as I alluded to last week, we have to actually, think about what we're doing with SEO this week and how we're going to turn it into something that's actually worthwhile for everyone, including myself, and also be able to keep it going. So we are going to go with a cool format, I think, and it's not going to be all that much different just because, there's not everyone's going to be around to ask questions live. But I don't have to do as much of the article research as I was doing before and writing my input and all that stuff, which is really cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue to do SEO this week live on YouTube, on Facebook, and then on Periscope, and we're going to record it for the podcast version. I am also looking into the internet radio. You can actually get your own radio station. I don't know if you guys need this, but you can have your own radio station, full on out, use royalty-free music and do talk shows and all that other stuff. And I think that's stupid cool when no one else is doing that. So what I'm thinking of is, until I can figure out the whole radio station thing, we're going to do all of these on, the YouTubes and all that stuff in the podcast thing. But while we're live, I'm going to actually start taking the phone calls. So if you just don't want to be on the internet and you don't want to listen to me, or that doesn't really make any sense. But if you're, like, let's say you're on the internet and you're just listening to me in the background or something, and you don't want to just, jam something in a chat, or you think your question needs a little bit more articulation to get the idea across that you're trying to ask, the phone calls are going to be awesome. So I just got to get another 1-800 number for that, and I'll route that over to my cell phone, and then I can hook my cell phone to the road. I can do that, all those steps right now. I just don't have a set of headphones that actually has a plug-in, so I can't monitor it, so I can't hear a damn word you're saying if I'm not while you're talking. So I gotta get, once I get the headphones, I'll get that all set up, and then I'll get the 1-800 number, and then we'll be doing the phone call thing. Now, what if you're in Europe or Australia or some crazy place and you just don't have, you're not going to be up at this time to listen to me? Don't blame me. I probably wouldn't get up any extra earlier to listen to you. I'd watch the recordings, right? I also happen to own SEOthisweek.com. Dory friend found it. She bought it quite some time ago, and she just gave it to me. So what I'm going to do is put up a single page website lander thingy and then put a form on it. And so you can just ask your question right there. Or if I can find the right tool, I'll actually make it so you can just leave a voice recording and just answer your question that way. So you get to hear your voice and stuff. And that'll be awesome. So we're going to make this a radio show. That's the goal. We're going to make it a radio show. We're going to reach out new, exciting people. I will promote, more than likely, I'm just probably going to just promote the radio show itself from now on. But SEO this week, we'll stick around. And then we'll go from there. If I can monetize it and get it making a little bit more money, I want to also have a magazine version for you Apple users. I'm sorry if you don't have an iPad in particular. Where I make a little magazine, and I don't know if you remember it as those magcast. It's magcast.com. You can actually make iTunes magazines with that. And I want to, I've had a membership to that ever since it came out, but I've just never done anything with it. And I want to actually implement that too. Again, one's got to make money for me to go do the other one, and then the other one will make money, and then I'll carry that off, and it'll be good. So I get to do two things. I get to make a little bit more money, and I get to help you guys out and answer any questions that you have, etc., in regards to SEO or whatever the heck we happen to be talking about that day. So I think that'll work. In regards to content, obviously, I don't want to say that you don't want to listen to me over day in and day out, but it's at some point, even I run out of things to say, and I'm kind of at that level. And that's why the articles and the new stuff kind of help me out with that, because I can just, pop these in here and just, give you my insights. And then when someone had questions, it would just be pretty easy to pivot over into the article. So I'm going to continue doing that. I'll continue giving the links to these, but what I will change is in the content on Digitaleer, it's just going to be the video and then the resource list. And that'll be the URLs. I'm not going to go into, typing all that stuff out like I was doing before and all that. It was a great internal linking source, and it still is. And, maybe I'll put a little banner or a call to action or something and promote my services, or build internal links via call to actions to, further leverage the page. You know what I mean? Not just have an orphan page sitting out there for no reason or not pointing anywhere. So we'll probably do that, but otherwise it'll be just the link. So most people have already listened to my story anyway, or talked about the article, or heard what my opinions about the article anyway. So they go there, they find their article, they click the link, and they're off doing whatever, right? So there's no sense in me doubling down and here's my insights and then giving you a video that tells you my insights again. It's kind of just silly. So I'm just going to skip all that typing work, and then we'll just have the resources list. So if you find it on YouTube or you're listening to the podcast and you want to come to the show notes, you can just go find those. And they're literally just the notes. Maybe if something else comes up during the recording or something, and I can add to that just to make sure. But for the most part, you'll just get what you need, and that's the link to the story. So hopefully you all appreciate that. And the change, I'm really, really looking forward to the phone call theory. It just listening, no one else is doing that, having people call in. I think what we're going to end up doing is playing around with the times and, jumping around, do one show early in the morning. Maybe we'll do another show in the afternoon, that kind of stuff. Just so everyone gets a little bit of variation and can actually come in and do the phone call. So we'll see how that goes. I know people like consistency, so the 2 p.m. time change would be a little bit drastic of a change, but we'll see how that works out. Perhaps even moving it and doing it first thing in the morning, since I'm not specifically analyzing articles anymore. I can I could just jump on in the morning, and then the people that are, in Europe, a little bit later in the evening for them, maybe. All those in Australia are probably still asleep, but I catch all the U.S. audience at a nice prime time. So we'll see how that goes. I think it's gonna be good for me. It'll be good for you. It'll be good for the channel, and get some decent quality content out of it. And I think it'll be nice. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and just start my rambling. The show is only going to last 30 minutes unless I get a question. That'll be from here on out. If I don't get any questions, then I'm calling it a day. In the meantime, I'll just find some interesting articles that I thought were kind of cool, and you guys can check those out as well. RobbieRichards.com is back. I've been following him for quite some time, and then I actually bought his SEO playbook. 100% clarity here. I bought it just so I could have access to his cool guy spreadsheets. I've gone through some of the training and stuff, but for me, I'm not a really good training consumer. If you are in my What Ranks course, I talk really fast. I do that on purpose because that's how I learn. If you talk like this and your presentation is really slow, I got to speed you up. If I have to speed you up, then I probably it's just, for my little pea brain, it just doesn't work. But, and Robbie's presentations, he's from Australia, and I think the natural draw of Australia is to talk a little bit slower. And it's just, how they talk. It's how a lot of people talk. I think I talk incredibly fast for some people. But that being said, I've gone through a lot of his playbooks that he's got in there, and are actually really, really good. The accompanying spreadsheets are really, really handy. And even if you don't use them by default on what he's got, and most of them are good enough to do that, you can modify these to what you need. Another good spreadsheet tool that gets dinked around a little bit is the Blueprint. The Blueprint. It's the.blueprint, I believe, is the domain name. From Ryan Stewart. That thing is the training is like $2,000 now, I think. Let me not guess. Let me just go look. The Blueprint. I have a membership, and I just want to find it so you guys can find it. No, that's not it. Ryan Stewart. Steward, I think is what it is. Blueprint. Yeah, the Blueprint.training. Like I said, the first time. Duh. All right, so I think they've raised this price up a lot. And it used to be a couple $100, and then when I bought it, my own copy, because I bought a copy over at Over the Top SEO for our PMs because I like the system. That was $2,000, and then Sam's saying it's $5,000 now. Yes, $5,000 for this training set. And I don't know what the hell. They got lazy loading. See that? See that lazy loading? Oh, that's horrible. Oh, I hate that. What's wrong with you? We'll click get started. I'm going to verify. I'm not calling you a liar, Sam. Let's just see. Do we need a chat? Are you ready to level up your booking strategy? No? Ready to sign up? The Blueprint Platinum, $15,000. Jesus, I'm in the wrong damn business. $15,000 for a training program. And that's not a bash on them, right? So if you understand that courses and consultancy are really in high demand, and I'm sure just as much as they're in high demand, there's a whole segment out nowadays who who like to bash the gurus. And most of those people that are bashing the gurus are broke ass and living in their mama's basements, from my experience. But, you have two business models in any business. So you can run a plumber's business, or you can run a business teaching people how to run a plumber's business. And they're kind of going with both over here at the Blueprint. And so before it was just the Blueprint training, and Sam is right, it's $5,000 now. Well, $4,999 plus tax. And in there is it's project management, and there's a whole bunch of other trainings in there, some agency stuff, etc. And then this Blueprint Platinum, I'm part of their Slack group, and I've seen mention of it. I can tell you that I can think of better things to drop $15K on, unless it's like towards the end of the year and I have to have a $15,000 deduction for taxes, and then maybe I'll do it. But otherwise, probably not. Let's see. The goodie bag is, I don't know, I've seen that in the Blueprint framework. I think the framework is actually the PM stuff now. Let me see. Positioning, results, demand. This might not be the PM stuff. They might still be selling the PM stuff inside of the Blueprint training. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you have to get it through the Blueprint training. They've also upselled, and this is probably a good thing for you guys too, if you're looking at getting into SaaS, is they have the sheets, right? So they built everything based off of the Google Sheets, which is how I got over here because of Robbie Richards. But what they did is they created an add-on to Google Sheets that they sell access to for $49. So you pay $5,000 for the training. You pay $5,000 for access to the Google Sheets. That's all part of it, right? So you get the training and you get the access to Google Sheets. And then they depreciated all of their training. They said, oh, this is all legacy training. You can still have it, but you should probably be using our add-on. And then the add-on now is $50. Stupid smart, because now you have a $5K buy-in, and then you have a $50 a month commitment subscription fee. And if you get on these sheets, I can tell you now that more than likely you are probably never going to get off. Just because changing from project management system to project management system isn't just a pain in the butt. If you've ever done it, we did it over at OTT like 4 times because we couldn't find the right one that was good for us until I put everyone on the sheets, and we did all right. But I think that's pretty smart for that. So that if you're doing a product like this and you have the training, you have a support systems for the training, i.e. a tool or tool set, and then you have a way to automate that tool set to make it a little bit easier to use. You can charge a subscription fee for it, and you can maintain some decent money like that. Just think about it like this: if there's 100 people that bought that, that's 100 times $5K. And 100 of those people are using the add-on, so you get a nice, decent chunk of change once a month just for work you already did. So check that out. If you need the project management system, go for it. If you don't, or your ad price is just way out of your league, I strongly suggest the playbook, the SEO playbook by Robbie. I think he opens and closes his sales funnel just like Brian Dean does. But Robbie's prices are, I would venture to say, the quality is probably the same, but the prices are significantly lower. So don't tell Robbie I said that, because he'll raise his prices because he's a smart man. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. All right, so there's 4 practical steps of choosing the right keywords. This is actually... this is a really good post, and it's probably going to take up my whole 30 minutes, which is awesome. Align the keyword research to your business model. I'll tell you right now that most people don't even bother doing that. And basically what that means is, what is the user looking for when they do the search? So if I'm looking for, let's say I'm plumber Yuma. I mean, I live in Yuma, Arizona. So plumber Yuma. Or here's a new one I'm going to have to do pretty soon. AC, HVAC Yuma. AC repair, AC servicing. There we go. AC servicing Yuma. So I'm going to search for AC servicing Yuma, and what I need to know as a as a searcher, or as a SEO perspective, or as a business owner who's looking at PPC, this all stuff all applies to all of you, is what the hell's in the search results right now? Because more than likely, especially if you click the ads, they're going to tell you what your conversion point is, i.e. what do everyone want. So I click on the first ad and you see his phone number, quick registration, quick refrigerations, cool, take care of your who he needs. This is dumb. If they wanted this to actually be useful, I would have had that one sentence: quick is ready to take care of your who needs, call, and then the button. This is a waste of time. And then, but you look, there's a phone number, you can schedule an appointment, and then you have all these coupons. So, and there's no forms. So the conversion is the phone call. That's what they want. They want you to call. They did a really crappy job trying to get it. Again, the conversion is the phone call. So I would have had an HVAC coupon and promotion from quick registration. Call now to redeem your coupons, or don't forget or call now with the coupon code. Doom, boom, done. And that would have been cooler, right? So let's look at another one. I want to look at another ad. All these human businesses are going to be pissed off at me because I cost them $20. Doom. Holy Jesus. This must be one of those free websites. This site is horrible. Phone call, though. That's the conversion point. There's phone call. There's no forms. Please tell me that this is better. Yeah. Why is this not their landing page for their ads? They're paying money for their ads, and they're sending people for money to this. What the hell are they thinking? Or what the hell is their PPC manager thinking? And right now, I'll tell you, the biggest provider of digital marketing here is the news channel, the KT something or whatever. They have this subsidiary marketing agency that's attached to them that they built off of this, so they can expand their revenue into digital marketing. And the idea is they hook them in with this digital marketing, get them on the PPC, and then get them to buy TV ads and do a consolidated advertising plan. It's totally fine. But if this is the level of PPC stuff that they're getting, man, this is just sad that someone would send someone to that page. That someone would actually think that page is all right to send people to. All right, so I'm getting off track. Did we look at Polar? No, we didn't see Polar. Brilliant call to actions. Here you go, call to actions. Schedule a service, request a service. There's a phone number. Highlight over this. Opens. Nothing. Oh, there it is. That's slow. That's a form. A slow ass form. I'm on my phone. I need service and it's hot. I'm not doing that. Request a service. Not doing that. So there's a form in there. But, I got to get my AC services. I have 3 of them, 2 in the house, and then I have a split unit inside of my house. And I can tell you that I'm not requesting a service from anybody like that. Let's see. I'm going to call you. Call. There you go. Voted now. Voted the best. This is good. Trouble with the reviews. Is it true? Who knows? Here's your coupon. Call now. Some more reviews. Everyone likes to see those. I look at reviews every once in a while. I take them with a grain of salt because I'm a digital marketer. Let's see. Phone number. Let's see what the schedule of service does. Takes them to a form. Request an estimate. It's the same. Yeah, it's the same form. Schedule service estimate. And then boom, you get that done. You don't need 2 pages with just the same form. That's just a thing. All right, so phone call is so far. So phone call is the CTA so far. So that's the business model, right? So we want to look at that. What is the business model for these plumbers or the AC guys? They get a phone call. They schedule an original service appointment. They charge you $75 to $125 to come out and do the lookie and make sure everything is good to go. They inevitably always find a $300, $400, $500 part that is broken that they have to fix, and then you are cool for the summer. Cool for the summer. So that is their business model. The phone call is the CTA. That's what you need. So you have to actually look at the intent of the user, and typically in here, especially in Yuma, as it gets closer to summer, these are going to have to be these 24-hour AC service. Because once it gets 122, your AC goes out. Next thing you know, your house is 130. We have really good insulation here, so that's 130 is an exaggeration. But if I turn the AC off and during the summer, my house can get up to good 95 degrees before the sun goes back down. That'll change once I get solar, but that's neither here nor there. So you got 24-hour emergency service, AC, and those kind of emergency help keywords are really, really, really good. But we're looking at some other things here now. We're looking at what other services they offer. Emergency services, heating, air quality, thermostats, ductwork, air conditioning. Let's see what else they got. It's the same list, just broken down a little bit better. Quick refrigeration. Indoor air quality, AC inspections, water heater flush. There's a lot of ads around Yuma for water heater flush because our water is really stupid hard, and it gets a lot of buildup in there. Air quality, heat pump. See services, air conditioning, AC repair, heat pump. That's good. All right. So what I'm noticing is in this market, when I'm doing this, guess what? I don't have to worry about too much. And just as I said it, I saw it. There it is. The plumbers, ACs and plumbers is like they build them together, and they're two different skill sets. Like the company that I call doesn't send a plumber to fix my AC. They said an AC guy. Let's see, AC. This site's not mixed. See, there's AC, and then there's some air purification stuff. So air purification, really big deal. That makes a lot of sense because there's a lot of dirt. The sand dunes are not that far away, and typically the wind is blowing from the sand dunes into Yuma, and that makes it rough. Or it's coming from the south. And that makes it rough too, because the south is not necessarily the cleanest. South of us is not necessarily the cleanest air. So blowing all that stuff over the desert. So that's why the air quality stuff is that big. But as you see, I've clicked all these, and most of them are not plumbers. So I don't have to worry about that. I can just have a website with AC, HVAC, and deal with that at the end. So that's good. So those two, just quick keyword research stuff that you can do to figure out what you should be targeting and how you should be playing with it. And I think it goes a long way. All right, 36 minutes in your defense. Actually, since I pushed record on the road, I get another 1 minute. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them now. Otherwise, I'm bouncing. And in that, I'm going to go scroll down here. There was another point I wanted to see. Actually, I wanted to talk about this one. The shared array buffer object. A lot of people in the Facebook groups, well, I don't say a lot. I did notice this by a few people that they got this message. It's shared array buffer object message. And basically, what they said is, hey, we updated our stuff, and now you have to update with us because we think we know better than you little peons, and you got to fix your websites. And they being Google, and then Google Search Console. I would have counter with, hey, why don't you fix Google Search Console first, and then you can talk to me about things that I need to fix on my website. But that's neither here nor there. And it's not a productive response to Google, right? But it's a shared array buffer is a JavaScript, and basically what happens is if you're using it and you don't put it in, it's called cross origin isolation. There is a potential for it to become a security issue, and it's just something in JavaScript that we as webmasters we kind of got to address because hacking is real. One of my clients, their site got hacked. They were in the user database, added all kinds of users, changed all the admin emails, etc. And then for whatever reason, and I have never seen this before, but for whatever reason, the hacker deleted the entire website. There's no reason to do that. Let's say you are a hacker SEO, where you're hacking into other people's websites and you're dropping links, or you're hacking into them and you're doing malware and stuff. The one thing that is consistent with 99% of them is they don't delete the entire website. And because they need those files, they need that stuff there, they need everything to look good so that hack, which takes actually a considerable amount of time if you kind of understand that. It takes a little bit to do that, to set up the meta refreshes and the PHP database to create the pages you want to go to and all that stuff. That all takes time. 3 to 5 hours a website you're probably looking at. So I have never seen one just delete a website. So one, it tells me it's a kid who just thinks that destroying people's businesses is funny, and they need to be hunted down and pissed on. But it is the fact of life of technology. Everything gets hacked one way or another. It's only a matter of time, and that's how software evolves and gets better depending on how the team behind it responds. So in this case, JavaScript is this is a potential hack. They want to take care of it inside of a Google and just help you out, and they gave you a tool or a guide on how to enable cross-origin isolation. Don't ask me what it means. That's all nerd stuff. Most of my sites I don't even deal with it. I use Oxygen Builder, and I never got any of these messages. So if you got this message, just come over here, look at this cross-enabling thing, and check it out. And maybe even look at what I recommend all the time anyway. If you don't need the feature that's firing off that thing, shut it off. Even if you're in love with it, but no one uses it, just shut it off. Get rid of it. It just reduces your risk of hacking and makes it easier for you to do it. And that's why I don't like using sliders. Slider Revolution, for example. Awesome plugin, awesome team behind it. People just nail that thing left and right for a while. I don't think we could go a month in the past where there was a Slider Revolution hack. So if you don't use them, get rid of them. And then save yourself the nasty error messages from the Googles in your Google console. And we got a question. Let's see. Matt, I can't get my clients' articles to rank, even though they're crazy optimized. Most of them aren't ranking for a single keyword, even if I build links. Could it be because of LCP and CLS issues? No. Page speed optimization, and that's what the Core Web Vital stuff is all about making the sites faster. And Google has this goal for us, and it's 3 seconds or faster on a mobile experience. Typically, before they were looking at the 3G speed as the baseline. That's why when you run all those tools, it all simulates 3G. So if your site is that fast or close to it, you're not going to get a ranking boost by going from 3 seconds to 1 second, for example. You will get a ranking boost if your site loads in, say, 10 seconds and then you fix it and now you're at 2.5. Okay, so that'll be a big thing. The same goes with the LCP and CLS issues. In order for that stuff to actually be applied right now, that would imply that they've released it entirely across the web, which they haven't. There are theories that they released a baby version. So they're the pre-test of the ultimate of the release of the final thing, and that does make a little bit of sense to me because they're not rollbacking, they're not doing as much significant changes in the algorithm or in the search results because of algorithm updates. Case in point, what was it? I want to say December 2020 update. Right before that, you guys saw all the changes in the SERPs and looked just like mad nuts. It like flipped things overnight, and then it all went back. And then a little bit later, that's when the update came out, and none of that stuff was there. And most people who are practicing good sound SEO techniques never saw movement. It didn't go up, didn't go down, it didn't hurt anything. As a matter of fact, if you actually are doing good SEO techniques, you're rewarded from it a lot. And I expect that the CLS stuff could do that. Now, if you are not ranking at all for your keywords, one, your keywords could be too tough for your site. You might have to get a little bit longer. Or two, the backlinks that you built, provided you built backlinks, the anchor text was not optimized properly. And when I talked a long time ago about doing anchor text analysis, I meant it. You need to be looking at the backlinks for your competition's websites and looking for the patterns. I will tell you, you can use Ahrefs, Moz, Majestic, SEMrush, and drop them all to a spreadsheet and still not get all of their backlinks. But you can at least kind of sort of figure out the tier 1 anchor text array that Google is looking for. And then finally, I look at, what is crazy optimized and your definition of it and what kind of tools you're using. So I have really good luck, and I'll call it luck because I tested, as you guys know, I did that content optimization video, and I tested running Word, writing my article in Word, and then I move it over to Phrase, and I optimize it to 100, which really is not that difficult of a process. You just add the entities to your content. And then moving it over, at that time, I moved it over to cognitive SEO. Now I'm using Surfer. And getting that into the 75-85% range. If you try to get any more with that, honestly, you're just adding keywords and you're making your content sound like crap. And it's going to create more work for you down the road in my process. And then I take that and move it over to the inlinks, and I go for the 85 to 95. I got a 100 in inlinks once, and I think that was entirely a fluke. And then I take it back to Word and I run it through Grammar. Excuse me. I run it through Grammarly. So all of that stuff that I just did could mess up the grammar, right? And Grammarly's Microsoft Word add-on actually tells you clarity, and there's a couple other categories, but I do two: correctness and clarity. And the clarity one is really dope for making everything nice. So regardless if I added an entity or whatever in one of the tools, I use the clarity to make sure everything is actually clear. It says it and it's good. and then I publish it. I think I showed that video of the keyword that I did it with, and it works great. And I didn't do anything else. I haven't run, I set the title tag, the meta description, and the headings. But I didn't do any schema. I didn't do any Cora or Cora Lite. I didn't do anything, and it ranks just fine by itself like that. So when someone tells me that their page is crazy optimized, I'm leaning towards you might win a little bit cray. You might win a little bit crazy on your own. And you could have, and I haven't seen your page, and so questions like this it's a lot of guessing, but educated guessing. But you could have gone a little bit overboard, and maybe that might be your issue. On the flip side of that, you could be the kind of person that's like, oh, these tools over optimize me, and I'm not going to follow all the recommendations. And you might have under optimized your pages for your keywords, for your target keywords. So for Matt to get a better idea of that, if you want to, you can give me the link. And I'll give you a quick view. It is your client site though, so I understand the negative aspects of submitting client sites in our industry, because people are assholes, and they'll just go and ruin that stuff just to make you look bad, so they can drop their 50 emails about how they can do their SEO for $250. So I get it. But yeah, I would look at those things there. Not ranking for a single keyword. Matt, here's a follow on for you, Matt. Is it even in the top 100 for anything? And I don't mean like anything and stuff that you think it should rank for. I mean for anything. Like, can you bring it up in Search Console and click the URL and then look at all the queries for just that URL and see if it's being shown for anything? That'd be something to look at. You may, and I'm releasing this in SIA this week, our Thursday webinar. You may have another page on on that client site, or pages, and the concept is keyword cannibalization, but really what Google's doing is gotten stupid smart, and they're ranking 2 or 3 pages for a keyword, and then indexing everything else. And so if you're one of those unfortunate souls that gets hit by that, you could have, like 10 pages that they think should be shown by that word, and then they'll find the one that they think is the best one, or the 3, and de-index completely out of the index, no longer just not ranking, de-index the remaining pages, and it's damn near impossible to get them back in. And it really sucks if they pick the wrong page for you. All right, I don't see any replies from Matt. I have to account for the delay and then typing, but that is what it is. All right, so hopefully with that, I'll wait for Matt here just for a couple seconds, but hopefully you guys like the new format. I was thinking about teaching you guys some stuff, and let's be honest, there's so many people, quote unquote, teaching SEO. There's plenty of resources where you can get questions answered, but most of those involve like a Facebook or something like that, and I go onto Facebook to see if I'm mentioned and stuff. Otherwise, I don't even engage on Facebook very much anymore, just because it's, it hurts my brain and it's bad for my emotional health. It frankly just pisses me off. And so I like this format better. I think it's more comfortable. It was easy to set this show up. It didn't take any time at all. As a matter of fact, I set it up. The longest part of taking time was finding the music in the intro. And once I get my monitoring headphones, I can actually use Spotify for that, and that's going to be awesome. So we'll see how that all works out. All right, let's see. Follow up. There's Mac. Looks like they got 21 impressions for Earl Grey Tea benefits, but that's nothing. Yeah, that's nothing. that's yeah. Is it a product page? Or a best Earl Grey Tea benefits page, or a best Earl Grey Tea page. If it's a product page, you got issues, and you're gonna end up building backlinks and some stuff like that, and you're going after Earl Grey Tea, which is the competition for that. I don't know what it is, but let's just see Ahrefs.com. I link the article. I guess you can't see it. Yeah, just let me look in YouTube. I think I have to preview, and I'm not actually watching the YouTube. Let me open it up. In the meantime, I'll do this. I had to change the emails and logins for all of my stuff because I logged in once and somebody was logging into or trying to log into my accounts and reset my passwords. All of my stuff because I logged in. Boom. There's that. Hi, chat. Is Leon swearing? No, I didn't save it. I think you might be blocked, Matt. So just put like the URL minus the domain minus the .com, and we'll see how that works out if you want to share it. So anyway, let's look at. I want to look at this. Earl Grey Tea. Earl Grey Tea. Medium competition. Best Earl Grey Tea. Look at that. Look at that. I tell you right now that I don't believe this one damn minute. Let's see here. Earl Grey Tea. All recipes. Pick a. Not even heard of that. Loose leaf afternoon trends. Two of those. Is there two? No, there's just one. The Whistling Kettle of Food and Wine. Best product teas perspectives. That's pretty rough. Let's look at the numbers. Trust flow is high. I'll show you guys what the hell I'm looking at. So trust flow is high. DA is high. So that's all recipes. This one's low. I would consider it as low. Low. It's not as competitive for some of these that I would think. I mean, you'd have some work to get ahead of all recipes. For best Earl Grey Tea, let's go to the product. This one right here, by the way, is delicious. The Earl Grey Imperial. That's awesome. I'm waiting for Earl Grey Tea benefits. Okay. Wikipedia, you can beat it. WebMD is a little rough. Food and Wine, that's a rough one. Hardy's really, that's embedded in there. Amazon's there. Earl Grey Tea benefits. There's a keyword. 9,000 a month. So it says it's easy. Let's see what this says. WebMD is number 1. That's going to be a pain. Food. I never heard of this site. I'm going to click it just to see. NHC food, yummy recipes. Let me point something out to you. This is it's a high numbers site, right? 50 domain authority 92, so probably a PR if they were still using PR 7.8. Look at all this crap. And yet Google somehow says, no, that's okay. We're going to show that. But they tell all small businesses that that you have to redo your website because it's not fast enough. But these large corporate sites can do whatever the hell they want. It just pisses me off. The people's also asked. Screwed it up. I don't even know who that site is now, but it's 87. 83. Country House Inn. I bet you this is Artisan, Texas. World of Tea. Keep you hydrated. Look at this one. Countryhouse.in is India. So let's go. Website built with. Shopify site. And home, and then Chais of India. That makes sense now. Fuck you, spammers. F you, spammers. If you have kids, I apologize. T Forte. 55s, 29. So this down here, 6 and below, they're all real low metric sites. So you have it's a good target. It's not an impossible thing. Matt, I think we've talked about this site before, and you had this Earl Grey benefits, and the site wasn't brand new. It's Earl training benefits for Hugh. So here's what I would do. Let's look at. I want to see one of these because obviously I can't see your site because YouTube's been messing with you. Top 5 benefits, right? Benefits Earl Grey Tea. This is dumb. Don't do this. It's all this wasted space. Age suggestion. I don't want to show something to you. This is the number one thing that you can fix and get some somewhat decent results, right? So the benefits are Earl Grey Tea, Earl Grey Tea benefits. They're phrase matched essentially. It's just saying it in the opposite way. Google's smart enough to pick up on that, so I don't really worry about that all too much. If they switched it over, they might get a 1 or 2% jump because they hit the exact match, but they could also mess with the results that they're getting on the reverse. So no big deal. The biggest thing is here, exact match keywords in there, and then they have 103 H2s. And some of these are okay to be H2s because you're not taking the topic away from, or the focus away from the original topic. So there's new teas, wellness teas, etc. Black, okay. Green, those are getting a little broad. I probably wouldn't use those. Herbal, I wouldn't use alone. See how these are all used alone? I wouldn't do that. That is... And these are all loose leaf trios. No, that wouldn't work. But bestsellers, no. Wedding gifts, customizables, no. This is all because I bet you there's a, and I didn't look on the page, it's product crap. Same with H3s. You got to have stuff in there. So this and this is good. These in the format, these are all bad. You don't want those. Because they're taking away from the topic. The topic is teas, specifically Earl Grey teas, and so you don't want those. And then these are all garbage. So if we went in there and took this one page that is ranking, where was it? 6th, and fixed these, we would probably get it up to 5 or 4. And that's really easy, quick change. And so doing that with yours is probably something you need to look at. Secondly, if I was going to write this, it would be the easy benefits of Earl Grey Tea. That would be my title tag in H1. And then I would use this set down here for my H2s, 3s, and 4s. And you can actually go over here to the 100s. Yeah, see? So the health benefits, tea benefits, the benefits, that's a reverse. But it's got its own search volume, right? So H1, H2, H3, H3, H2, H2, H4. And that's the outline that I would write it in. And you notice I stayed up in here. I don't, these 100 words and stuff, I don't necessarily buy that they're that low, but why mess around with there if you don't have to? If this is 0 and I had some PPC campaign that says the impressions are actually 300 to 400 a month, then I would go for it. But right now you're just building out the page and trying to get it to rank. So you don't have that data and you just don't know yet. But you can optimize and add those in if you want to. So that's how I would go about looking at that when you're analyzing your stuff. Yeah, DR 48. Yeah, should be fine. Yeah, Matt says he's still got some stuff that's for internal linking he's got to look at, and that the lack of ranking is odd. That is, yeah, it's for a DA 48 site. Like Digitaleer is actually, I don't even know what it is in DA, but there's just pages on my site that for whatever reason they just don't come up right away, or SEO this week for whatever reason, like it'll rank, and then some weeks it goes right to number 1 like it's supposed to because I'm the only SEO this week out there, or and then other times it just won't come up. And I think that has something to do with how I syndicate and link. Because I got the YouTube, Facebook, SoundCloud, it goes to Stitcher, it goes through Spotify and all that other stuff. So all those other sites are more important than my site. So they just keep my site out of the index entirely, which is weird. But it's not out of the index, it's just not ranking for SEO this week, episode number whatever. And it just happens, I'm not entirely sure what the answer to that is without seeing your page, but I think I've given you enough. And in other words, other people have said the same thing. The term is way more competitive than what Ahrefs is indicating here. I think there's a competitor tool in here too. Let me see. Let's see what SEMrush is. Yay, I'm logged in. Search. Earl Grey Tea benefits. Decent volume. Keyword difficulty. Yeah, this one I believe a little bit more. Related keywords, keyword variations. This would be a better set to go with your H tags too. You can look at that and play with that a little bit better, but phrases are cool. What happens is, let's say, like all these people are recommending you to go for a longer term. So Earl Green benefits for kids, Earl Green, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to make a whole new page for that because that is part of your Earl Grey Tea benefits, right? So your Earl does, let's see, is there another one in here? There's got to be one for like kids, right? Or for somebody. Let's go in here. And for health benefits, cholesterol. So Earl Grey Tea benefits. Earl Grey Tea benefits for cholesterol. That's an H2. You can actually use table of contents with the jump links, the hashtag jump links in your table of contents, whatever you want to call them. I call them jump links. And link to that using the Earl Grey Tea health benefits cholesterol, and it will rank your page specifically for that longer tail keyword. And you don't have to hit as many links with this. And then let's say you have another one. There should be another one. Here's one with the oil, bergamot oil. And there's another one. So there's 5 links for this one. You do 5 links for that one. You're ranking for both of them, but now your page has 10 links for the Earl Grey Tea, which is in your anchor text. Let's see. Health, weight loss. That's really broad. It's funny that there's only 10 search results. I bet you 10 to 1 that search volume is different. It's not 10. Let's find another one. Looking, weed detox. That's a good one. That should be easy to rank for. Benefits Earl Grey Tea for weed detox. That could be another H tag that you can actually use as your anchor text. 3 to 5 links. Get up there, and then you're really good. Clean Health and Me, WebMD. Yeah, see, it's not necessarily. Healthline is number 7. Yeah, there's some good sites in there. But the point is, there's 1, 2, 3. Each one of those has their own jump link, which is ultimately, it's Google knows it's that page, but you're using that jump link to go directly to it, and you're referencing this thing. And all 15 of those links that you build to rank for those are now going towards your Earl Grey benefits keyword. And that's another way you could pick that all up. You can do the same with internal linking. You don't have to use this only on external links. You can do it for internal linking as well, especially if you have some pages that are like topics, and you can kind of build silos out that way, etc. So, yeah, hopefully I've given you enough things to actually go over there and start smashing things and checking it out. I'm just not sure it makes any sense to me because they're not ranking for anything on a bunch of articles. Wouldn't that be a technical issue? I don't. Okay. Without seeing your website, it could be a technical issue. It could be a content issue. Keyword cannibalization, you're triggering filters and it's not working. Technical issue, you could have no index on there, but you didn't say that they're not indexed. You said that they're not ranking. So those are 2 different things in my mind. And speed could be like stupid slow, but I think you would have mentioned that my pages were slow versus the Core Web Vitals metrics, which, I don't think they're using them, and 2, I don't think that'd be that significant anyway. If your page is loading faster than 3 seconds and fixing the content layout shift or largest contentful paint is not necessarily going to do you all that much better. Anyway, so yeah, I let's see, and you have it in the news category, and I can see part of your URL. I just can't see your domain. Why is it in the news category? That doesn't make any sense to me. It's not a news article. And I'm not saying the algorithm is taught to consider news as like a freshness thing. So when you put it in your news category, that it is a freshness thing by default. I'm not saying that. It just, to me, it just does not make any sense. You have a blog, which is a roll up of all of your, that's just weird, because the blog is an archive page. It's, at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's no different than a category page or a tags page in WordPress. It's an archive page. Here's my blog. Here's the archive of all the blog posts I have, and you click on them and you go into it. In your case, in the way that they got that set up, they got blogs, an archive of their blogs, and then another archive with news, and then their articles. That just makes no sense to me from a structural standpoint. Now, if their other sites are all set up like that and they're ranking and this one site is not, I can tell you that the URL structure and the structure of the website is probably not your issue. If none of them are ranking and they have that structure, then I would actually say, why not get rid of that, right? Yeah. Well, I think, and Matt's follow-up was he asked them to change that, but there's a lot of material there. And I've run into that before. What I do when you're going and looking at cleaning out a website is to go into all of the tools and find all the backlinks that are pointing to that set of sites, right? If there's no backlinks there, there's strike one. Now you go into analytics on those pages, and you find all the pages that had no traffic for the last 6 months. If there's no traffic there, there's strike two. And then you go into Search Console and you put in the positions for those URLs that meet strike one and strike two. And if Search Console said there's no impressions and the average position is on page one, then I delete all of those pages. That's strike three. No impressions, all on page one. And, well, you're going to get some impressions because you have to get the queries, but it's really, really low. It's like stupid low. If they're not getting impressions, they're on page one, they're not getting impressions, they're old, there's no backlink, there's no traffic, just delete them. And then now you have way less to worry about in regards to when you're changing your URL structure, especially if you're early on in a campaign. If it's an older site, like way older site, I'm working with a client now, they have pages from 2013, 2014. It's a little bit rough to go through that process, and you can slash and hack, but it's worth it because you have less to crawl, and Google crawls more efficiently, and it's not just sitting there. So, that's drastic. I would probably put that into the one of the last things I do category, but there's an option for you. Hopefully, it's so damn hard to figure out differences and stuff between sites and just kind of guess, because every site's different. Every site reacts to things differently. Every site ranks differently. Maybe the domain is just roasted, and Google just doesn't like the domain. It's on the list. That your site is on the list. You just don't know. Let's see. Oh, there is another question. Christopher, with long content and category pages, do you have a way to manage size on mobile? Accordions, or just let them expand in 2,000 words? It's category pages in regards to products, or category pages in regards to articles. I handle that mostly the same way. I would actually put it into tabs or accordions or a carousel. More likely tabs, just because tabs is easy for me on Oxygen. If you look at my Phoenix SEO page and pretty much all the SEO, city SEO pages, I use tabs in there, and that's applied on all the devices. I just find that it's easier to navigate as a user for me. So that's why I applied it, because I can read and just hit the tab, and it's just so much easier than trying to read and scan through 2,000 words. I am not going to read 2,000 words, and I don't expect the users would, on average. Most people would, unless you're like sitting on the bus and just reading articles, and more than likely, if that's the case, you're probably not buying stuff anyway. So I just do the accordions or tabs, but mostly tabs because I'm using Oxygen Builder. All right, 1 hour and 10 minutes, guys. Thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate you as always. Thanks for the great discussions, Matt. Hit me up. You can find me on Skype, etc. And we'll. It won't be today because I got some other stuff to do, but maybe tomorrow. Because I'm going to be starting my day earlier now as it's getting hotter here. Hit me up and we'll see if we can't diagnose a little bit of that. And I think it'll be a good learning experience. And I need something else to diagnose because I've been looking at a lot of rehab sites and all that stuff lately, and it's time to get into a different niche and just kind of open up perspectives. So, hit me up on Skype or the Slack and let me know. And Clint.a.butler. Really easy. Clint.a.butler is my Skype. All right. So I appreciate all of you all, regardless of where you're listening. Thank you very much. Again, as soon as I get the monitoring and headphones and what the heck am I? Monitoring headphones. I need a wire for my phone. We'll be off the races. Oh, and a 100 number, and I'll set it up so you guys can actually call in, and it's way easier to have these conversations when just talking and bouncing back and forth. It's a lot faster, and there's less delay. So we'll do all that, and we'll get a live call-in show, and maybe I'll just have someone make me a WKRP Cincinnati stinger. That'd be awesome. Well, we'll see. Alrighty, thank you. This has been episode 200 of SEO This Week. Have a safe week.